Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here with us is our co-host, Irv, back at it again with another episode. We're here on Powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. We're here on Season 6, episode number 35 on the Fire Sports Pod. This is the last episode for Season 6. Moving on Friday will be Season 7, Episode 1. It's crazy that's already been 7 seasons me doing this podcast. It's been a long time coming, and all we can do is keep going up from here. So let's keep on going. We got one whole segment for you guys tonight, or I should say today. And we are going over men's college basketball AP Top 25 rankings, as well the coaches poll. Irv's going to be asking some questions, going to be going over some things. What's his thoughts on some things, and giving my thoughts on certain movements between the bracket, and how we are going to be maybe looking towards a little bit under a month away from March Madness, who starts, I believe, on March 15th. So it's coming, guys. March Madness is almost here. The NBA the NBA playoffs is 27 games away. I mean, we got a lot of stuff wrapping up very soon. So let's start with this men's college basketball, and Irv, take it away.
All right, guys. So right now we're going to be talking about, just the top 25 teams. As you can see on the screen, we have the AP top 25, and then we have the coaches pool. Now, I believe that the coaches pool is just all the coaches from all these different schools just come together and they make, their own list of what the rankings should be in their own opinion. And then on the left-hand side, the AP top 25 is the polls based on statistics and, just the league and all the stats and all together. So at number 1, we have Auburn. Number 2, we have Florida. Number 3, Duke. I mean, Zach, what do you think about this top 3 so far? I mean, there's these 3 powerhouses right here. What are we thinking about the top 3 so far?
Well, for the top 3, Auburn is definitely a beast. I mean, in general, Auburn is a monster. They have the best team in the country. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Auburn's the best team in the country. Florida's close behind them at a 22-3 record. They have jumped from the 3 spot to the 1 spot. I think Florida has a Grady team. They're able to shoot the basketball. They're able to get to the rim. They're well coached. I love Auburn's coach. Auburn's coach is one of the most one of. He's not he's not old, but like he has been in the league and been in NCAA for a while, and he really knows how to coach. And I like the way he gets his boys ready to go. Duke's got Cooper Flagg, the new improved Duke, with the new coach after Shevsky left. I would say that he's not doing bad. At first, they were like, well, they dropped 2 straight. Oh, my God, here comes the downfall. And then Duke has just rolled off like 16 straight. They just barely lost. They just lost a couple nights ago, I believe.
Yeah.
They're 22-3. I think Duke is prized for a big NCAA tournament run. I think these top 3 teams are definitely going to be in there. But again, we never know. March Madness is so great, and this is why everyone loves college basketball, because you never know. In college football, you kind of know. Like, you'll get an upset here and there, but in men's college basketball, you get Cinderella stories. You get some guys that are like, who the hell are these teams that get in this tournament? And they upset, like last year, Oakland upsetted Kentucky in the first round. Again, yes. We got upset in the first round for like the 3rd straight year. The 3rd time we've been in the tournament straight. So it's, you never know. And we could be totally wrong. Like Auburn, Florida, and Duke could get all upsetted in the first round by some random-ass team. That would be probably the biggest crazy thing in the history of men's college basketball, but it could happen because we've seen it happen in this type of way before. But I think solid, those 3 guys, you're not going to be able to move. I mean, unless they go on some losing streaks. Cooper Flagg is going to go number 1. I love Dylan Harper. I love Ace Bailey, but Cooper Flagg's going number 1 in the NBA draft. The guy is a crazy-ass talent. He's a monster. I'm going to go on a limb here, though. AJ DeBances, who's in high school right now, he's coming into college next year for BYU. He's better than Cooper Flagg. He's better than Cooper Flagg. He is better than Cooper Flagg. And I like Cooper Flagg. The guy's a dog. He's better than Cooper Flagg. He's got a higher ceiling. He can do a lot more with the basketball. He reminds me of a very young. I don't want to say he's got a lot of work. He can work on some things like post moves. He's got to work on some more dribbling stuff, but he's got the skills, the height. I mean, he's not as tall as Kevin Durant, but he's got that type of size. He's got that type of elusiveness. But then you could put in like a little bit of a young LeBron where he's able to get to the rack at will. Again, we're talking high school. He's playing against guys that are like not even close to his competition sometimes. So we can't really measure his stature on high school. But once he gets to the college level, we'll see. Cooper Flag's a dog. He was a monster in the USA Olympics practice in Vegas this past summer. He was playing against NBA talent. He was holding his own. He was fucking killing them. So it's going to be cool to have both of those kids the same thing. Now, Cooper Flag has been even talked about maybe returning to Duke for a second year. There's been rumors and reports that he might stay a second year. I don't think he will. I think the whole persona around like these type of talents is they're one and done. But maybe he changes it and he says, "Oh, let me stay one more year. I like the college life. Let's see one more year." But sometimes those guys make those decisions and they don't have the best turnouts in that second time. So we'll see what happens there. But I think the top three, Irv, you really can't complain. These three are the best teams in the country.
Yeah, can't disagree with you there. I mean, I was gonna say that we should have that discussion maybe. I don't know, maybe once March Madness comes, because like about Cooper Flag against the top recruit. What's his name again?
AJ Sabansis in high school.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that we should have definitely like a discussion about that later on, maybe after March Madness, because I think after March Madness is we're really gonna see how Cooper Flag is, and who knows, maybe later down the line we could talk about once HJ Debansis finally plays his college game, we could probably have the discussion to see who was the better player. All right, so moving on. We just got out of the top three. Now we're moving on to close to from 4 to 10. We have Alabama, then we have Houston, Tennessee, which I've heard that they are ballers over there in Tennessee, Texas A&M, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and then St. John. So are there any surprises here, Zach? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Because for me, I'm not really much of a college basketball guy, but a name that kind of stands out to me is St. John's for them to be in the top 10. Because I'm a sports guy. Obviously, I'm not into college, which I told Zach I will get into it later on. But I tune in here and there. I see it on my Instagram, my Twitter. I see a couple of games here, a couple of rankings here, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing the school St. John's. So Zach, just going based off just 4 and 10, what exactly stands out for you from this group of people here?
I'm gonna have to go on a limb here. It's St. John's. St. John's last year overall was 20-13 at the end of the year. They played their conference. Their conference has UConn, Marquette, Creighton, Seton Hall, Providence, Villanova, and Butler, Xavier, Georgetown, DePaul. All of these teams have beaten the tops. UConn has fallen to Xavier, has fallen to, I believe, DePaul. I'm not sure if they beat DePaul. They've fallen to Creighton. They have lost to Seton Hall. They have lost to St. John's. They've beaten Marquette. This is a crazy ass division in the Big East. St. John's is the best team in the Big East. Not even close. UConn is not where they're supposed to be. I had a feeling they were going to fall off. I didn't pick them to win the national championship next year. I think Dan Hurley made a mistake, and he should have went with the Lakers, and he should have went there. I'm 100% think he made a mistake. I think he made a mistake, and he's realizing it now. He's getting a lot of real big frustration, a little bit too much for your liking as a coach that's won 2 national championships back to back. So I'm trying to go for a three-peat. They're not even ranked. They're not even ranked, ladies and gentlemen. UConn is not even ranked. That just shows you how bad they have been playing this year.
I was just going to mention that as well.
Yep. Last year they were 37-3, ladies and gentlemen. 37-3. So St. John's is definitely the surprise. They've beaten UConn. They are 22-4. They are playing out of their mind up until the last loss that they just had recently. They have won like 19 straight. They started like 1-2, and they've won like 18 straight after that. It was ridiculous. The difference between their team last year and their team this year, I actually have some boys that are my friends, Dan and Matt. Shout out to them. They are St. John's managers at the university with the team. Wow. Yeah. So we were talking about it last year. They couldn't shoot the ball. They didn't really have guys that can really attack the basket. their big man wasn't able to get and stretch the floor. This year they have shooting, they have defense, they have playmakers, they have guys they can make shots in big time moments, and you've seen it here time again and time again. So St. John's, to me, is going to make a deep run in March Madness as long as they keep up their consistency. Rick Pitino, one of the best college coaches in men's college basketball history, finally got a team. Finally got a team in St. John's that really can exercise what he wants to get done. So he's great. Ex Kentucky coach, man's a monster. I love Rick Pitino. I like St. John's. Last year was questionable in some of the defensive schemes, some of the offensive schemes that they ran. I watched a lot of their games. I was like a very, very on the fence about a couple things. This year, everything's perfect. They just needed to find the right guys to implement the right things. They lost a couple guys because of the seniors and stuff like that, but I think they've gotten better, younger, and stronger and more elusive. So I think St. John's, out of that group that you just named from 4 to 10, to me, I think St. John's has a chance to be better than all of them.
Right.
That's just to me. Another surprise, I would say, Texas Tech is good. They just lost last night to TCU. I'm on the fence at that one. Iowa State, they're all right. I don't really trust them all the time. Texas A&M, the Aggies, they're big time. They're rough, just like their football team. They're scrappy. They get the win. They get the job done. So I like them as well. Tennessee, I don't like Tennessee. Sorry. Kentucky was able to beat Tennessee. I do not like Tennessee, and I do not like the way they play. I think they're much worse than they were last year. I liked them last year better than I liked them this year. And this year, I think they had a better record. So I just think they're not. I think Kentucky, to me, I know I'm biased, but we've beaten Tennessee.
Right.
I think actually, to be honest, I think we've beaten them twice this year. Kentucky's record against Tennessee. March. Hold on. What was the record between Kentucky and Tennessee basketball? Hold up. Kentucky. Because this is so basically, okay, so Kentucky won. Oh no, Tennessee. So yeah, we went 1-1, I believe. I think we went 1-1 this year so far. So I mean, like I said, the first time we just barely lost, but we gave up a lot of points. The second time we shut them down. I think Kentucky is prized for a good run. But we're talking about the top 10. I just don't like Tennessee. I think they're not as good defensively as a lot of people think they are. Offensively, they can make shots. But if their shots are not going down defensively, they really got to lock in. Houston's good. Alabama's good. I would put Alabama and Houston with that top 3 there. They've had some questionable losses, but they're right there. Alabama's good enough to beat Duke, Florida, or Auburn. Houston's good enough to do the same. I think St. John's is right there next to them. I think if I would redo this poll, obviously with statistics, I would keep Alabama at 4. I would keep Houston at 5. I would take St. John's from the 10 spot, put them all the way up to Tennessee at the 6 spot.
Wow.
I would take Texas A&M over Tennessee. So Texas A&M will be at 7. Tennessee would be at 8. Iowa State would be at 9. And Texas Tech would be at 10. That's how I would revamp that 4 to the 10 spot. But as you can continue.
Yeah. And then since we're talking about revamping the whole the poll thing, we could always look at the right hand side where we have the coaches poll, and we have the first coaches poll decision that's different from the AP Top 25, which is they have St. John's over Texas Tech, taking St. John's taking that number 9 spot. So like we said earlier before, coaches poll. All the coaches come together. They're the ones who decide this. But on the left-hand side is the actual polls. Well, we're going to continue here. Now we're going to go on from 11 to 15, which we have Wisconsin at number 11, Michigan at 12, Purdue at 13, Michigan State at 14, and Missouri at 15. So, Zach, what are we thinking here from 11 to 15 so far? Are these brackets correct in your opinion, or should some of these bottom tier teams should be up there in the top 10? What do you think?
Um, Wisconsin's not bad at 20-5. They're always great. They've had some good history back then. With Filipkowski, they've had a lot of good history of winning the tournament and really competing in March Madness. They got a shot this year. I don't think to win it all, but definitely to compete. Michigan, they're all right. I don't really trust Michigan that much. They're up and down. Purdue, definitely not. Purdue has dropped 6 spots. They're 19-7. I don't trust them at all. Michigan State, I really like. I think they should be higher. I would take Michigan State at 11 and put
Okay.
Wisconsin at 12, Michigan at 13, Purdue at 14, and keep Missouri at 15. Missouri, you can't trust Missouri. They're up and down all the time. I like their grit. I like their coach, but I don't trust them enough. So I would say that's pretty much that. You said 1 through 15, 11 through 15, or 11 through
Yeah,
16?
11 through 15.
11 through 15. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna move on to 16 and 20 right after.
if I would change something, I would put Michigan State. I don't know why they're so low. I like them a lot. I know they dropped 3 spots, but I like them much better. I like them at 11. I like Wisconsin at 12. I'll take Michigan at 13, Purdue at 14, and Missouri at 15. That's how I would revamp that. I just think there's not really a lot of surprises. I think Michigan State can definitely compete in the top 10. They can get in there. They have the team to do it. I think Wisconsin would just be edged out of the top 10. But I think Michigan, Purdue, and Missouri, I don't trust them enough to make a deep run into March Madness.
Right. Okay. So then we have your own bracket, and we have the coaches bracket, the coaches pool, which they have Wisconsin and Michigan roughly at the same level, but then now here comes the changes. Now they have Michigan State taking that number 13 spot over Purdue. Then they got Purdue at 14, and then they have Missouri dropping to the 16th spot and Marquette taking that 15th spot. So moving on, though, we're going to talk about Marquette now. And we're also going to talk about your Kentucky Wildcats. 16 to 20, we have Marquette, we have Kentucky, we have Clemson, Arizona, and Maryland. So, Zach, your Kentucky Wildcats down right here in the top 20, but we're sitting there comfortably at 17th. So what do you think here? What is your own opinion about 15 through 20?
So I'm going to give you my unbiased 15 through to 16 through 20, and then I'm going to talk about Kentucky a little bit before we end off with the last 5. Marquette, I don't like Marquette. I really don't. I think they're up and down. The Big East is really competitive. I think St. John's will owns Marquette. I really don't see them doing anything. Kentucky, like I said, I'll get to that in a second. Clemson, I like Clemson there. I think Clemson has beaten Duke. I believe they've beaten Duke. I think they've beaten Duke. They've beaten Kentucky. Or no, they've beaten Kentucky. No, they've beaten Kentucky. I don't think they beat Duke. I'm not sure. If Irvin, you want to double check my facts,
Yeah,
I believe they beat my Kentucky Wildcats. I don't believe they beat Duke. I'm not sure, though.
Clemson.
Clemson, yeah. Arizona, they're up and down. I like Caleb Love. The man's a monster. But they're up and down. They should be higher. They've had some questionable losses, so I'll keep them at 19. Maryland, they're 20-6. They've up 5. I don't trust them enough. I'd keep them at 20. Kentucky, dude, to be honest, I could put Kentucky at anywhere in the top 10. If I'm being honest, we have the offense, we have the firepower. When our defense is playing at all cylinders, we have enough to be in that top 10. But for right now, the way we've been playing so far, if I'm gonna go on a limb here, I'll put Kentucky at 15. In the Missouri spot, just because we've lost a couple games. We've lost questionable games. The only reason that I am not being so biased and putting them in the top 10 and like kicking out somebody in the top 10, like Texas Tech, which I think we're better than Texas Tech, is because we've lost, but we have beaten 6 of the top 10 teams this year. So, AP in the AP top 25, we've beaten 6 top 25 teams. So in that type of scheme of things, I believe something around there. So we have beaten some top teams, bro. I definitely think we deserve to be up higher. I just think we've had some bad luck. We had some injuries. We missed some shots that we need to make. And that just comes with the game of basketball and comes the game of sports. So I would say that Kentucky is definitely somewhere that they could be at the 15th spot right now. I think they could be better. I think we can go on a limb here and put them at 9. Earlier in the season, they were at like 4. So you're right there. So yeah, I would move this. I would have Kentucky at 15. I'd Marquette
Okay.
at 16. I have Clemson at 17. I have 18 would be Arizona. 19 would be Missouri for me. And then 20 would be Maryland.
Okay, and just a quick fact check. What you told me to look up earlier. They
Mhm.
did go up against Duke. They didn't lose to Duke. They only lost to them by 1. But earlier in the season, like around December ish, they did go up against your Kentucky Wildcats, and they did end up beating the Kentucky
So they
Wildcats.
beat both Duke and Kentucky.
No, they lost to Duke by one by
They
one
lost to Duke
point,
by 1. Okay. Yep.
but they beat Kentucky.
Okay, gotcha. All right, there you go. So they've played really well against the top and one of the top teams in the men's college basketball. One of the top teams in men's college basketball at that time, which was Kentucky. So they can play. Now for the last. So yeah, we went through the 20. So what's the last 5? Or
All right, so for our last 5 from 21 to 25, we have Mississippi, Memphis, Kansas, Ole Miss, and Louisville. For me, I feel like Kansas and Louisville. I don't know. This is just my opinion from looking at college like throughout the years. I don't know if they've been good for a good amount of years, but I feel like this is a really low spot for them. I think they could have been. I think they should be so much higher because I just think because of their history, they've always been like top 10, top 15. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure. I'm just I'm just looking from the outside.
just
Looking
spitballing
in.
over here, pretty much
Yeah, pretty
spitball.
much.
So
So
Er's spitballing, I'm not gonna go nuts on him. But guess what? BYU just beat Kansas by like 40 last night.
goodness
And
gracious.
BYU's not even ranked.
Well, like
Kansas,
I said, I mean, I don't
Kansas
know if
lost,
Kansas had.
Kansas lost 91 to 57.
Goodness gracious. No, but I'm saying like
No, no, no. That's what
historically,
somebody that you haven't really watched college basketball is. You would think like you hear all the always Kansas Jayhawks, like oh my god, they're one of the top teams.
because
Like
of their
that's
history,
yeah,
right? Because of
yeah.
their
No,
history.
no, no doubt. You're not wrong. But Kansas sucks this year.
Wow. Yeah, I could. I mean, yeah,
To be
someone could.
honest, they should not even be in the top 25. Um,
Wow.
Louisville has a shitty ass schedule. That's why they're there. They're going to be bounced out of it anyways. Ole Miss, they're good. They just have lost 5. Like they've dropped 5 points down. They're just not as good as I thought they were going to be. Mississippi State deserves a good credit. They're staying in it. They're good like the Aggies, but they're not as good as the Aggies. But Mississippi State can get some jobs done. They just beat last night Texas. They actually beat the Aggies. To be honest, it's funny. Mississippi State beat Texas A&M, and I picked them to win. So, like I said, Mississippi. That's what I said. Texas A&M is the 7th spot. Mississippi
Yeah.
State is 21st.
Yeah.
Anybody can beat anybody. This is why this season is so good. Like
Mm-hmm.
TCU is not even ranked. They're 15 and 11. They beat number 9 Texas Tech by 3 last night.
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody can beat anybody. Seton Hall 7 and 19. They beat UConn just a week ago. Like this is BYU, not even ranked. They were ranked a couple weeks ago, not ranked now. They beat the brakes off Kansas, who's ranked 23rd in the nation. Like this is why Michigan State takes down Purdue by 9. They're one mark below them at the 14th spot to the 13th. Like this is what I mean. Like anybody can beat anybody. This is what's great about men's college basketball and college sports in general. You never know who's gonna win the game. It's not who's the better team. It's who's the better team on that night. That's what really matters.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you could also apply this to not even just college basketball. You could apply this to any NBA game, NFL game, and college football game, just sports in general. Like you could be the worst team ever, but it's all about how you can perform on that game, on that day as an athlete. How can you perform to help your team beat probably the number 1 team in the country, or just beat an arch rival, school, excuse me, a team rival. So yeah, no, it's a very good point, Zach. Just real quick though, we're gonna talk about the coaches poll because I also want to get your
Hold up,
opinion.
hold up. Before you say that, they actually tell us the exact reason for the coaches poll. It is the USLBM coaches poll is a weekly ranking of the top 25 college football, basketball, and baseball teams in NCAA's Division One football bowl subdivision, the football pro. So there, that's really the thing. It's just a random. It's a panel that they go in and then they what's the difference between AP poll and coaches poll. This is what's the difference. The coaches poll is, if anything, a little kinder to mid majors and a little less likely to get caught up in the hype than the AP poll. So each coach who agrees to be on the panel submits their top 25. A first place vote is worth 25 points. A second place vote gets 24 points, and so on down to 1 point for the 25th. So that's how it is.
Okay,
So each coach in this bracket gets a
yeah,
poll. They
okay.
get points. So
Mm,
that's how it is. And then they put it in there. So that's how it is.
okay, okay. It's pretty interesting. I
I
usually
just wanted
thought.
to I just wanted to say exactly what that is because I really
Yeah,
didn't know that either.
I
So what
think
were
I
you
think
saying
this is
about the coaches poll?
no, yeah. I just think thank you, Zach, for sharing that. I think for all the viewers, especially for us as well. I don't think we were familiar with what the coaches poll really was, and thank you, Zach, for just clearing the air up a little bit. I mean, I just wanted to get your opinion on this because according to the coaches poll, they're mixing around a lot of teams. They got your Kentucky Wildcats just outside the top 20. They're sitting at 21, right behind Maryland. And what's interesting is that you talk about how good Ole Miss was. You talk about how they just dropped and they just lost like 5 consecutive games and they're not good. Well, they have St. Mary's as a top 25 team in the AP.
Yeah, but you got to understand that's the same division as Gonzaga. Gonzaga was one of the best in the last like 5-6 years. They've
Yeah.
always been in the top 10. They're not even in it. St. Mary's is in it because of their schedule. This is why I hated Gonzaga and I hated the bullshit. Well, they had good teams and they
Mhm.
showed it in the tournament, but I hated that they got the respect in the regular season. Their division sucks. Their conference is horrible. They play nobody. They don't play anybody. St. Mary's plays nobody. That's why they have 4 fucking losses. Well, I would hope they can play fucking Kansas. They will get murdered. They can play anybody in this bracket. They'll get murdered. They can have St. Mary's all they want. They have a shitty ass schedule. I mean, look, as you continue what you're saying, and I'm going to look up St. Mary's schedule.
No, yeah, I just wanted, just a little bit of input. I'm glad to see that Zach is very adamant and very,
I hate
up
that.
about how St. Mary's easy schedule ultimately, makes them the reason why the coaches pool, says that St. Mary's should be in the top 25. I mean,
So here we go. St.
go ahead.
Mary's has Gonzaga in their division. Okay. They're 20-7. San Francisco. They're not even close, dude. San Francisco Dons men's basketball. That's in their division. Okay, hold on.
It's crazy.
Santa Clara, Oregon State, LMU, Washington State, Portland, Pepperdine, Pacific, and San Diego. Tell me. That's a shit show. San Diego is 4-24. Pacific
Yeah.
is 9-20.
Yeah.
Pepperdine is 10-17.
Yep.
Portland is 10-17.
Yep.
Washington State is 16-11.
Yep.
LMU is 15-12.
Yep.
Oregon State has played nobody. They're 18-9. Santa Clara 17-10. San
Mhm.
Francisco played nobody, 21-7. Gonzaga's played some guys, but they're 20-7. And St. Mary's is 23-4.
So I guess you could say they only have them up this high because they're just number one in their conference and they
Yeah,
just played somebody.
yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
I would bet some money on it. If they wanted to play Kansas right now, I'll take Kansas to beat St.
And you're
Mary's.
talking about where they had you're talking about 23 ranked Kansas, right? You're talking about the team that is absolutely garbage, right?
That one that just got blown out by BYU. Well,
Yeah.
BYU's not a scrub. Like BYU's not ranked, but they can play. They're just their offense. If they can't shoot, they suck. But
Yeah.
they went berserk last night on Kansas. I could tell you Kansas will kick ass against St. Mary's. Maybe not kick ass, but they'll beat St. Mary's.
Yep. I mean, credit, but yeah,
You
guys.
want to beat
So
St. Mary's? Play them against Duke. Duke will blow them out by 60.
And I cannot disagree more
You can
about
take
that.
St. John's. They'll blow them out by 25.
Hmm. I
You can
mean,
take
yeah,
freaking Maryland. I'll take them to win. I'll take anybody in this top 25 list over St. Mary's any day of the week.
yeah.
Louisville. I'll pick Louisville to beat St. Mary's. So, and I don't like Louisville. Louisville's a rival to Kentucky. So,
Yeah, well, here you guys have it, top 25. Now, we're just probably gonna go. We're just gonna talk about, just different drops and ups and all that stuff. So we're gonna start at number 10 with St. John's. I mean, it says according to ESPN, they did drop from the number 9 spot all the way down to 10. And then you got Texas Tech, who moved up from the number 11 spot, I believe.
yep.
No, the 12th
No,
spot.
12, 12.
Yeah, they moved up from the 12th spot all the way to number 9. Then you have Iowa State, who were in 10th, and they moved up to number 8. Texas Tech moving up 1. Tennessee dropping. They were once 5th seed. Now they're down to the 6th seed. Then you also have Houston going up from the 6th seed going to 5th. Then you have Alabama. They were up there in the top 3. They were up there number 2, and then they dropped. They just dropped 2 positions down in the number 4 spot. Duke remained the same. Florida, after their win against Auburn, they moved up 1, and then finally Auburn sitting there at number 1.
Well, technically, Auburn beat Florida, I believe.
That Auburn beat Florida.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I forgot. Hold on, I'll go back to my picks. I got to go back to Saturday. Yeah, Auburn. No, Auburn beat Alabama. Dumbass. Duh. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Auburn beat Alabama
On Saturday, February 8th, the Florida Gators did beat the.
Oh yes, I do remember that. But that was a long.
Auburn.
But they only went up because Florida beat. I believe Florida beat this weekend a top team. Hold on, double check. Yeah, Florida beat South Carolina, and then hold on. Then Florida played last night, and they beat Oklahoma. No, they just got up because they're just winning. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, I think that win over Auburn
That
did
definitely that win over Auburn definitely had something to do with
it.
it.
Definitely helped them a lot. I mean, yeah, after getting blown up by Tennessee by 20, bounce back beat Vanderbilt, then Auburn, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Oklahoma, you know. So, but yeah, guys, these are your top 25 rankings so far. You had Zach's input, and you had me orchestrating just basically everything here. And yeah, anything else to say, Zach?
No, that's it. That's pretty much it for the show, guys. I appreciate Irv coming on again. He was dealing with some personal issues on Monday, so he wasn't able to get on, but I'm happy that he's back on today. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. Again, guys, this is the final episode of season 6, ladies and gentlemen. Season 6, episode 35 just happened. We will be moving on to season 7, episode 1 on this coming Friday. So stay tuned and don't forget to check it out. We'll see you guys on Friday for another awesome and fire show. Catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your Wednesday afternoon. Peace.